Leadership is a hot topic in business. It always, for the most part, always has been, and it continues to be. And the key flaw that I find in the craze about leadership development and leadership training is that they're essentially looking at old models for leadership development from the 20th century and trying to add a new, more fresh twist on them for the 21st century. The reality is that these traits are not the traits that are needed for effective and powerful leadership in the 21st century. What I found by looking at the way that the world is changing and the skills that are needed for an organization to adapt and thrive in the future is there are three key traits that an organization must look for if they're looking for a new leader, or the type of traits that an organization needs to encourage and to create within their leadership. And the first of those traits is critical and strategic thinking. This almost seems to be a lost art for many people. We just take the first thing that's told to us and we run with it. But critical and strategic thinking is really the ability to analyze several points of information, to be able to see how different points of data actually work together, make sense, create a larger picture of what may possibly come. This is key for leaders in the 21st century. The second part of that is clear and succinct communication skills. It's great to be able to formulate a vision by pulling different points of information together, but the most important thing in the next process of that is to be able to clearly communicate the next actions for those that are required to execute on your directive. This is really important because too often we want to step back and say, okay, well, let me tell you everything that I know, everything that I found, and you often leave those that are supposed to execute and implement these next actions in a place of more confusion. So you want to tell them what they need to know, not everything that you know. And then the third quality is courage. Over everything else is courage. And I say this because when new information arises that completely alters or changes or potentially changes the direction of your organization or some initiative that has already been started, leaders need to have the courage to say, all right, we need to stop and change directions, because if we continue down this road, we're either going to crash and burn or we are setting ourselves up for disruption. Too many leaders want to keep everybody happy. Too many leaders want to keep everybody on the same page. And this is not a skill that's necessary or even valuable in the 21st century. Leaders have to move beyond the sunk cost bias of, well, we've already gone this far, we might as well keep going. And they need to have the courage to take action to move in a different direction when new information is presented.